from the LBJ School of Public Affairs. Joe is present at our master's ceremony to receive his award and to address our graduates. I hope you'll read Joe's bio in the program, be inspired, and I do hope that someday, maybe one of you, we will be honoring as one of our outstanding graduate alumnus. So I have a few remarks I'd like to say before we get on with the main show. For the past 11 years, I've had the honor of serving the graduate community as Associate Dean of the Graduate School. This year has been an especially meaningful one for me because I was asked to also assume the role of Interim Dean of the Graduate School. Although I've seen a lot of students come and go over the course of my 40-plus years on this campus, my time as Graduate Dean has given me a greater appreciation for all what you and our faculty do every day. This could be from ethnomusicology study on the role of bagpipes in Syrian culture, to improving battery life, to finding better concrete for our highways and bridges, identifying possible life-sustaining planets, literally hundreds of other ways. It is what you all do daily to create new knowledge that makes UT Austin such an exciting and very special place. This afternoon, we are here to acknowledge your achievement of earning a doctoral degree from really one of the best universities in the world, and to congratulate each of you for reaching this milestone. I will say that if you have a job, great, congratulations on that as well. If you don't have a job, I assure you one will be coming soon, but make that your first job to find one. I guess you all have a job. In either case, I wish you much success in your chosen career and in your life. Beyond that, I have a few personal thoughts I want to share with you this morning. These are going to be 4 remarks, and yes, there will be a quiz at the end, so pay attention. Number 1, I want you to be proud and value your PhD. We have a niece who has a 6-month-old daughter. I'm sure you've all seen the joy when an infant discovers something new. We are born with a brain that is curious about everything. It is designed to learn, and our education system is at its best when it encourages independent learning. That's the PhD degree, the highest degree that we grant in academia. It is a natural degree for all of us who love being lifelong learners. It is not just the recognition that you are now the world's expert in one very narrow, tiny little area of study. And I'll give a couple of examples. I can't really see out there very well, but is Chris Henney here? There's Chris. Chris is one of our Harrington Fellows I've gotten to know. He's from history. His dissertation is titled Pre-Columbian Exchange, the Circulation of the Ancient Peruvian Dead in the Americas and the Atlantic World. Or Courtney Schell, dissertation from Mechanical Engineering, Tuning Prosthetic Foot Stiffness to Improve Lower Limb Amputee Mobility. And the list goes on and on and on. Wonderful reading. More importantly, however, is that each of you has demonstrated that you know how to go beyond being spoon-fed information to being capable of independent study, to solve problems, contribute to the world's storehouse of knowledge. As President Fenves mentioned in his remarks at the master's ceremony, the core lessons that are taught in graduate school are necessary to lead in any field. Those of us in academia are extremely fortunate that we have a job that not only encourages us to be active lifelong learners, but actually demands it. But the same can be said for many careers, and I hope yours enables you to follow your passion and be a lifelong learner. To recap, number 1, be proud. Value your degree. You probably have accomplished more than you probably realized this afternoon. Second, be kind. You are all pretty darn smart. You would not have gotten into graduate school at UT if that were not the case. I suspect that many of you would be described by your family and friends as clever as well. You've probably never been called an idiot, always been smart. But let me ask you, have you ever called someone else an idiot or stupid? Maybe as they cut in front of you going down Mopac at 80 miles an hour? My advice to you is that it's often harder to be kind than to be clever, but you are all smart enough to learn that nothing good long-term comes from demeaning someone else. Make friends, not enemies. Number 2, be kind. Number 3, be grateful. Pay it forward. You rightfully should take pride in your achievements in earning your PhD here today. But remember that many people, including your parents, fellow students, your friends, your graduate advisor, the graduate coordinator, your faculty supervisor, your favorite class, even your least favorite class, all of those experiences and relationships have influenced who you are today. I know it is impossible for you to thank everyone that helped you along the way, but I encourage you to pay it forward. Take time to listen to others and help when you have the opportunity. Now, this one is really very personal for me. I grew up on a farm in Iowa. I attended a one-room country schoolhouse, the son of loving and smart parents who just happened to have the bad luck of growing up during the Great Depression and needed to go to work as young teens to help support their families. Thus, my parents never had the opportunity to go to high school, much less college, and frankly, had never heard of graduate school. So you can imagine that they were a bit shocked, even disappointed, when I announced to them that instead of taking a real job upon graduating from college, that I was going to graduate school. Maybe some of you have had to defend your choice to stay in school as well. I hope it works as well for you as it has for me. I have been very fortunate to have had a few people along the way who took time to encourage me to think beyond my own experiences and limited expectations. I am grateful, and I do try to pay it forward. I urge you to do so as well. So number 3, be grateful. The last point I want to make, number 4, is to be joyful. I do hope you find joy in your life, in whatever you do. Statistics indicate that those with the PhD degree earn more than those without a higher degree, and they live longer. That all sounds pretty darn good. That doesn't necessarily make you happy, however. I do wish you all success in your chosen career, but I ask each of you to think, how do you define success for yourself? Is it a high salary, being famous in your career, driving an expensive car, owning a big house, having a beautiful spouse? What are the top 5 things in the list that define success in your mind? I suggest experiencing joy beyond that list, and maybe be near the top. Now, joy isn't the same as happiness. I hope you're all happy today. Happiness is based on things going well. Joy is really a feel-good feeling that remains even in the midst of suffering. Joy is an emotion best fed by generosity, and as you go through life, I hope you learn to value the joy that comes from giving. Joy can often be found simply in the act of helping others. If in your future you are fortunate enough to harvest more than you need, I encourage you to share some of your bounty with others who are less fortunate. Measure your success not so much by what you accumulate or accomplish for yourself, but also what you contribute to helping others. And the great thing about joy is that it is self-perpetuating. One person's act of generosity leads to another person's act of generosity, and so forth. Almost done. Now, as you get older, your focus tends to go from what you need to what others need, and serving others, I hope you'll find, can be very rewarding. An excellent example of someone whom I respect and admire greatly, and who I hope has experienced great joy, is with us today to help congratulate you, Dr. Judy Langlois. Judy has served generously the university in so many ways it is impossible for me to detail all of them in the context of these short remarks. Let me just say that she is a professor of psychology, interim executive vice president and provost, former dean of the graduate school, twice interim dean of the College of Liberal Arts, And all the while, she has practiced lifelong learning and mentorship of graduate students, as she has led an active research group that has been continuously supported by NIH funding since 1988. Judy, I realize this might embarrass you, but I'm going to ask you to rise and let us thank you for all your service to the university. I began these remarks mentioning my 40-plus years at UT. Now, I do not feel old, but I will admit to not being young. When you get to that stage in life of not being young, your doctor may test early signs of dementia by mentioning 3 words or phrases, and then several minutes later ask you to repeat them. So as new PhD students, I figured you should be able to handle 4 words. So here is the last quiz you have before being hooded, and maybe your last quiz ever. So don't embarrass us now. Number 1, 4 remarks. What were they? Number 1, be proud. Great. Value your degree. You have accomplished more than you probably realize. Number 2, be kind. Make friends, not enemies. Number 3, be and pay it forward. Help someone along the way. And number 4, be joyful. Great. You all pass. We'll let you have your degree. Okay, that's it. We're going to get on with the main show here. My congratulations once again to all of you on earning your much well-deserved degrees. I do wish you future success and joy in your life. Thank you, and hook 'em horns. Now we will begin to proceed to recognize the students individually. The dean or a representative of each college or school will hood their doctoral candidate. I invite Provost Judy Langlois and Vice Chancellor Steve Leslie to join me in congratulating these brand new doctors as they cross the stage. Their names will be read by Professor Mark Gooden. Associate Dean Dean Nykirk will assist with the hoods. And each candidate will also receive an envelope which contains a congratulatory letter. Sorry, no diploma at this time, no cash, but diploma will be in the mail. It is also our tradition that when members of the faculty who have played such a significant role in the intellectual development of their students are able to be present, and I think we have over 100 back here, we ask them to also step forward and share in congratulating their students as they cross the stage. So let us begin.
We will begin with the recognition of the candidates in the College of Fine Arts. Dean Douglas Dempster will hood the candidates. Rose Catherine Baltby, Music Performance, Supervisors Hannah Lewis and Patrick Hughes. James Charlie Horton Birch III, Music Performance, Supervisors John R. Mills and Beyond Sane. Nora Karakusaglu, Music Performance, Supervisors Elliot M. Anto Coletts and Beyond Sang. Benjamin Ari Corbin, Music Performance, Supervisors Elliot M. Anto Coletts and Ann E. Epperson. Byung Hee Yu, Music Performance, Supervisors Elliot M. Anto Coletts and Ann E. Epperson. Blythe Diane Cates, Music Performance, Supervisors Darlene C. Wiley and Guido Oliveri. Emily Ann Koselik. Music Theory, supervisors Byron P. Allman and James W. Bueller. Sharon Park, music performance, supervisors Ann Epperson and Elliot M. Antocoletts. Sion Quark, music performance, supervisors Elliot M. Antocoletts and Daxon Zhang. Yu Jong music performance, supervisors David Renner and Elliot M. Antocoletts. Ji-Young Kim, music performance, supervisors Brian D. Lewis and Guido Oliveri. Hansong Kang, music performance, supervisors Elliot Antocolette and Gregory Allen. Chuyong Oh, theater and dance, supervisor Rebecca Rossing Papkovic. Sean Stephen Jacobson, music performance, supervisors Elliot M. Antocoletts and Donna R. Albert. Chang Yang Lim, music performance, supervisors Robert A. Desimoni and Michael C. Tusa. Keenan Roberts Boswell, music performance, supervisors Robert A. Desimoni and Michael C. Tusa. Christopher Michael Keenan, music performance, supervisors Andrew F. Delatonio and Matthias Meyerhofer. Scott Thomas Moore, music performance, supervisors Mary E. Poole and Andrew F. Delatonio. Tariq Hassan, music performance, supervisors Jeffrey L. Helmer, John M. Fremgen. Gianni Luciano Biancani, music performance, supervisors Jeffrey L. Helmer, John M. Fremgen. Kevin Dwayne Jones, music performance, supervisors John R. Mills and John M. Fremgen. Keith Carter Hendricks, music performance, supervisors Thomas A. Burrett and Michael C. Tusa. Corey Ben Maurice Pompey, conducting, supervisors Donald J. Grantham and Jerry F. Junkin. Stephen Michael Knight, conducting, supervisors Donald J. Grantham and Jerry F. Junkin. Clara Marie Blood, music performance, supervisor Andrew Parker and Elliot Antocoletts. Lee Kwong, music performance, supervisors Eugenie Charlotte and Nathaniel O. Rickens. Ying Zhang, music performance, supervisors Byung Sang and Guido Oliveri. James Owen Welch, conducting, supervisors Gerhard Zimmerman and Michael C. Tusa. Eric Peter Hograff, music theory, supervisors Byron P. Allman. Rowan R. Salinas, theater and dance, supervisors Rebecca Rosin Papkovic. Oladatun Baba Tope Ayar Badi, theater and dance, supervisor Omi Osan Joni Jones. Young Mi Lee, music performance, supervisors Brian D. Lewis and Michael C. Tusa. Youngji Lee, music performance, supervisors Elliot M. Antocoletts and Satako S. Yamamoto. Chloe In-Young Park, music performance, supervisors Elliot M. Antocoletts and Daniel Ching. Luis Adrian Vargas Santiago, art history, supervisors George F. Flaherty and Andrea Giunta. Sebastian Vidal Valenzuela, Art History. Supervisors, George F. Flaherty and Andrea Giunta. Tatiana Reynosa, Art History. Supervisor, Sharice Smith. Catherine Dolores Anania, Art History. Supervisor, Richard A. Schiff. Z. Xiao Chen, Piano Performance, Economics, Spanish. Supervisors, Delatonio Nancy Garrett. We will now recognize candidates in the School of Architecture. Names will be read by Associate Professor Byung Sleto will hood the candidates. Marla Judith Torado, Community and Regional Planning. Supervisor, Byung I. Sleto. Jane Frutrell Winslow, Community and Regional Planning. Supervisor, Frederick R. Steiner. Andrea Ray Roberts, Community and Regional Planning. Supervisor, Michael Holleran. We will now recognize candidates in the School of Information. Dean Andrew Dillon will hood the candidates. Brandon Keith Wiley, Information Studies. Supervisor, William F. Asprey, Jr. We will now recognize candidates in the College of Liberal Arts. Dean Randy Dill will hood the candidates. Kate Chambers Pritchett, Sociology. Supervisor, Robert Crosno. Kirsten Marie Ronald, American Studies. Supervisor, Steve Hushler. Melissa Ann Smith, English. Supervisor, Carol McKay. Alexis Alita Harasimonovich, Truax, History. Supervisor, Felipa Levine. Felipe Fernandez Cruz, History. Supervisor, Seth Garfield and Bruce J. Hunt. Fatma Tarlachi, Comparative Literature. Supervisor, Elizabeth Richmond Garza. Juliana Lee Leachman, Comparative Literature. Supervisor, Tatiana Kuzmik and Coleman Hutchinson. Marvin Charles Benderly, American Studies. Supervisors, Stephen D. Hochler and Elizabeth Engelhardt. Danilo Antonio Contreras, Government. Supervisor, Raul L. Madrid. Maya Janine Berry, Sociocultural Anthropology. Supervisor, Edmund T. Gordon. Sophia Laparadu, Anthropology. Supervisor, Arlene Rosen. Natalie LaFay Jones, Geography. Supervisor, Gregory W. Knapp. Herschel Fred Thomas III, Government. Supervisor, Brian D. Jones. Betsabeth Monica Lugo, Sociology. Supervisor, Sharmila Rudrapa. Pamela Jane Newman, Sociology. Supervisors, Javier Oyedo and Gloria Gonzalez Lopez. Kathleen Henley Averett, Sociology. Supervisor, Christine L. Williams. Claude Marcel Bonazzo, Sociology. Supervisor, Robert Crosnell. Caitlin McKenzie Collins, Sociology. Supervisor, Christine L. Williams. Marcos Emilio Perez, Sociology. Supervisor, Javier Arriero. Sheila Jane Menon, English. Supervisor, Domino R. Perez. Katie Marie Logan, Comparative Literature. Supervisors, Tariq L. Aris and Elizabeth Cullingford. Dina Afrisar Arbi, Middle Eastern Languages and Cultures. Supervisor, Blake R. Atwood. Corey Andrew Hahn, Comparative Literature. Supervisor, Charles E. Bird. Cesar L. A. Salgado. Ryan Conrad Davis, Middle Eastern Languages and Cultures. Supervisor, John Hunegard. Philip Zakovich, Middle Eastern Languages and Cultures. Supervisors, John Hunegard and Joanne Hackert. Michael Arthur Flexenhard III, Religious Studies. Supervisor, L. Michael White. Megan Lindsay Case, Religious Studies. Supervisor, Joanne Hackert. Jonathan Samuel Fleck, Comparative Literature. Supervisor, Sonia Roncador. James Christian Steg Limidora, Spanish and Portuguese. Supervisors, Luis Carcamo Huchante and Josiana Arario Martinez. Stephanie Ana Malik, Spanish and Portuguese. Supervisors, Naomi E. Lindstrom and Cesar A. Salgado. Cynthia Patricia Blanco, Linguistics. Supervisors, Roger Smijanic and Colin J. Bernard. Kyle Joseph Jarrow, Linguistics. Supervisors, John T. Beavers. Leah Katrin Gear, Linguistics. Supervisors, Richard P. Meyer. Anthony Edwards, Middle Eastern Languages and Cultures. Supervisors, Kristen Brustard and Mahmoud Batal. Jason David Mullins, Linguistics. Supervisor, Jason M. Baldrige. Nadia Prosiyuk, Anthropology. Supervisor, Samuel M. Wilson. Robin Lee Dodge, Anthropology. Supervisor, Fred Valdez, Jr. Deborah Trine, Anthropology. Supervisor, Fred Valdez, Jr. Trevor Mark Simmons, History. Supervisor, William Roger Lewis. Sarah Reeves Saylor, English. Supervisor, Frank F. Wiggum, Jr. Mary Lee Hedengren Perez, English. Supervisor, Davida H. Charney. Margaret Emily Tate, Sociology. Supervisor, Benjamin H. Carrington. Adrian Theodore Popon, Sociology. Supervisor, Michael P. Young. Robert Thomas Sitko, Sociology. Supervisor, Jennifer Glass. Joanna Lee Turner, English. Supervisors, Samuel Baker and Lance Bertelson. Jennifer Ann Chaplin, English. Supervisors, Heather Hauser and Ann Chepkovich. Meredith Armstrong Coffey, English. Supervisors, Barbara J. Harlow and Neville Hode. Emily Ann Letterman, English. Supervisors, Ann Chepkovich and James H. Cox. Judith Hazel Howell, English. Supervisors, Heather Hauser and Elizabeth Cullingford. Elvia Mendoza, Sociocultural Anthropology. Supervisors, Charles Hell and Kamala Wies-Westren. David Floyd Garcia, Sociocultural Anthropology. Supervisors, Martha Benchaka and Pauline T. Strong. Kendall Joy Gerdes, English. Supervisor, Diane Davis. Catherine Mackenzie Blauke, English. Supervisor, D. Diane Davis. Mary Amanda Wall, English. Supervisor, Clay Spinuzzi. Connie Michelle Steele, English. Supervisor, Mark G. Longacre. Jung Ming So, Middle Eastern Languages and Cultures. Supervisor, Esther L. Raisin. Janie Nicole Scott, Anthropology. Supervisor, Maria Franklin. Andrea Gustafson, American Studies. Supervisor, Julia L. Mickenberg and Stephen D. Holscher. Joshua David Holland, American Studies. Supervisor, Julia Mickenberg. Lily Lotz, American Studies. Supervisor, Shirley E. Thompson. Jacqueline Monique Smith Francis, American Studies. Supervisor, Shirley E. Thompson. Raquel Luciana De Sosa, Sociocultural Anthropology. Supervisor, Joa H. Vargas. Catherine Cox, English. Supervisor, John P. Rumbrich. Jennifer Elizabeth Lamb, Government. Supervisor, Bartholomew H. Sparrow. Stanley Lewis Kassoon, Sociology. Supervisor, Nestor P. Rodriguez. Stevie Scarlett Shine, Psychology. Supervisor, Judith H. Langlois. Caitlin Marie Clark, Psychology. Supervisor, Rebecca Bigler. Alexandra Nicole Garcia. Alexandra Nicole Garcia, Psychology. Supervisor Andrea C. Gore. Agaliki Calamara Cavazos, Anthropology. Supervisors Fred Valdez Jr. and Palmer Buttles. Matthew Ryan Rabatin, Italian Studies. Supervisor Daniela B. Carter and Paolo Bonifazio. Gregory Maxwell Bruce, Asian Cultures and Languages. Supervisor Saeed A. Hyder. Mona Mohini Dutta, Asian Cultures and Languages. Supervisors Donald R. Davis Jr. and J. Patrick Oliver. Sundara Vatlamyundis, History. Supervisor Cynthia M. Talbot and Gail Minault. Andrew Greg Udinsky, English. Supervisor James H. Cox and Domino R. Perez. Emily Penelope Elizabeth Duran Zuniga, Middle Eastern Languages and Cultures. Supervisor Kirsten Rustad. Ryan Dale Groves, History. Supervisor Olin Rontoyan Falola. Excuse me. Emily Rose Kinney, History. Supervisor Erica Marie Bissamek. Jandrea Marie Bates, History. Supervisor Seth W. Garfield. Susan Blue Zacade, History. Supervisor Susan Deans Smith. Maria Jose Afanador Jack, History. Supervisor Jorge Canizares. Blake Charles Scott, History. Supervisor Frank A. Gurdy. Brian Allen Stauffer, History. Supervisor Matthew J. Butler. Maylie Holmes Thompson, English. Supervisor Douglas S. Brewster. Raymond Joseph Parrott, History. Supervisor Mark A. Lawrence. David Andrew Conrad, History. Supervisor Mark Metzler. Mary Harding Polk, Geography. Supervisor Kenneth Young. Paul Holloway, Geography. Supervisor Jennifer A. Miller. Joshua Martin Rudow, Geography. William A. Doolittle, Supervisor. Amy Kathleen Lather, Classics. Supervisor Deborah Beck. Charles Westfall Otten, Classics. Supervisor Ayelet Hampson Lushkoff. Jonathan Charles McClellan, Classics. Supervisor Paula J. Perlman. Cynthia Alicia Franchica, Comparative Literature. Supervisor Andrea Giunta and Ann Chefkovich. Brianna Carolyn Jewell, English. Supervisors Ann Chefkovich and Wayne Lesser. Christopher Eric Taylor, English. Supervisors, Daniel Burkholtz and Geraldine Hung. Helen Wynn Foe, History. Supervisor, Mark A. Lawrence. Ava Sonia Perkis, History. Supervisor, Dinah R. Berry and Tiffany Gill. Christopher Hardy Haney, History. Supervisors, Jorge Canizares and Seth W. Garfield. Nina Johanna Palmo, Sociology. Supervisor, Ruthine K. Rayleigh. Kevin Etheridge Stewart, Government. Supervisor, Jay Butzanuski. Miriam Shariati, Comparative Literature. Supervisors, Elizabeth Raymond Garza and Mohammed Ganapavar. We will now recognize the candidates in the School of Nursing. Dean Alexa Steifbergen will hood the candidates. Mary Elizabeth Fitzinger, Nursing. Supervisor, Patricia Carter. We will now recognize the candidates in the Cockrell School of Engineering. Dean Sharon Wood will hood the candidates. Morgan Megan Motamed, Civil Engineering. Supervisor, Randy Machumel. David Robert Rounce, Civil Engineering. Supervisor, Diane C. McKinney. Matthew Robert Hyatt, Civil Engineering. Supervisor, Paolo Pazalacqua. Andrew Pitchford Horton, Biomedical Engineering. Supervisor, Edward W. Marcotte. Jose Alberto Joao, Electrical and Computer Engineering. Computer Engineering. Supervisor, Yale Pat. Gonzalo Enrique Espinoza Davalos, Civil Engineering. Supervisor, David Maidment. Oyan Kansala Mudiki Ajaya, Petroleum Engineering. Supervisor, Carlos Torres Verdon. Pratik Kathel, Petroleum Engineering. Supervisor, Kishore Mohanty. Jin Lu, Electrical and Computer Engineering, Communications, Networks, and Systems. Supervisor, Gustavo A. Di Vecchiana. Ayan Acharya, Electrical and Computer Engineering, Communications, Networks, and Systems. Supervisors, Joy D. Ghosh and Raymond J. Mooney. Ripan Shah, Electrical and Computer Engineering, Software Engineering. Supervisor, Dwayne Perry. Kyle Feliciano Chavez, Mechanical Engineering. Supervisor, David G. Bogard. Vivek Vitadev, Aerospace Engineering. Supervisor, Ryan P. Russell. Carly Francis Sakamura, Aerospace Engineering. Supervisor, Renivas Betterpour. Jashan Bhatti, Aerospace Engineering. Supervisor, Todd E. Humphreys. Kenneth Mark Pacina, Jr., Electrical and Computer Engineering, Communications, Networks, and Systems. Supervisor Todd Humphreys and Robert W. Heath, Jr. Bradley Lewis Trembaki, Mechanical Engineering. Supervisor Jayanthi Murthy. Prabhakar Marapelli, Mechanical Engineering. Supervisor Jayanthi Murthy. Surtan Kutal Goksi, Electrical and Computer Engineering, Electromagnetics and Acoustics. Supervisors Adela Ben Yakar. Ki-Yong Kim, Electrical and Computer Engineering, Solid State Electronics. Supervisor Adela Ben Yakar. Nabajan Niza Meeting, Petroleum Engineering. Supervisor Gary A. Pope. Debarate Kundu, Electrical and Computer Engineering, Communications, Networks, and Systems. Supervisor Brian L. Evans. Shiprio Das, Electrical and Computer Engineering, Communications, Networks, and Systems. Supervisor Haris Vakalo. Naveed Arsalan, Petroleum Engineering, Supervisor Kwok P. Nguyen. Wei Chien, Materials Science and Engineering, Supervisor Wei Lee. Ali Gudarzi, Chemical Engineering, Supervisor Keith P. Johnston. Amir Kaninajad, Petroleum Engineering, Supervisor David DiCarlo. Mohsen Rizavisi, Petroleum Engineering, Supervisor Kami Sampanuri. Jingjing Sun, Biomedical Engineering, Supervisor Bu Gao Shu. Shongchong Lee, Electrical and Computer Engineering, Integrated Circuits and Systems, Supervisor Jacob A. Abraham. Yi Jung Chong, Electrical and Computer Engineering, Software Engineering, Supervisor VJ K. Garge. Sean Edward DeRosa, Chemical Engineering, Supervisor David T. Allen. Serena D. Horova, Chemical Engineering, Supervisors Nicholas A. Peppas. Dushant Palagia, Mechanical Engineering, Supervisor Dong Mei Chen. Alexander John Headley, Mechanical Engineering, Supervisor Dong Mei Chen. Renee Held, Chemical Engineering, Supervisor Roger T. Bonakazi and Vabav Bahadar. Jason Lee, Biomedical Engineering, Supervisor Aaron B. Baker. Jing Ying Wu, Electrical and Computer Engineering, Supervisor Derek Chiao. Song Ping Yang, Aerospace Engineering, Supervisor Maruthi R. Akela. Jonathan David Mosley, Electrical and Computer Engineering, Energy Systems, Supervisor Surya Santosa. Felipe Gutierrez, Civil Engineering, Supervisor Kerry A. Kenning and Lynn E. Katz. Selena Susie Marie Dozier, Civil Engineering, Supervisor Lynn E. Katz and Howard M. Ligestrand. Aurora Mersala, Civil Engineering. Supervisor, Lynn E. Katz and Albert F. Seibert. Zhao Lu, Materials Science and Engineering. Supervisor, Dong Li Fang. Li Ben Zhang, Materials Science and Engineering. Supervisor, John B. Goodenow and Jianxi Zhao. Aaron Kennedy Darling, Civil Engineering. Supervisor, Richard L. Corsi. Joseph Anthony Hashim, Mechanical Engineering. Supervisor, Sheldon Landsberger and Mitchell W. Pryor. Christopher Allen Johnson Blyton, Petroleum Engineering. Supervisor, Nikul M. Sharma. Roman J. Shore, Petroleum Engineering. Supervisors, Ort Erg Van and Baset Akamashe, sorry. Jose Eugenio Itiraga, Civil Engineering. Supervisor, Robert B. Gilbert. Bonnie Elise Canyon, Mechanical Engineering. Supervisors, Sheldon Landsberger and Seth McConchy. Allison P. Wood, Civil Engineering. Supervisors, Desmond F. Lawler and Michael Blackhurst. Hossein Yousefpour, Civil Engineering. Supervisors, Todd A. Helwig and Ogazan Bayrak. Kizong Yoon, Electrical and Computer Engineering, Communications, Networks, and Systems. Supervisors, Eli P. Fiete and Siriam Vishwana. Xiao Chong, Electrical and Computer Engineering, Solid State Electronics. Supervisors, Deji Akanwande and Nanshu Lu. Peter Lewis Voyadic, Biomedical Engineering. Supervisors, Aaron B. Baker. Anthony Joseph Monteforte, Biomedical Engineering. Supervisor, Aaron B. Baker. Rachel Marie Buchanan, Biomedical Engineering. Supervisor, Michael S. Sachs. Stephanie Donnell Steichen, Biomedical Engineering. Supervisor, Nicholas Peppas. Jae-Sung Moon, Civil Engineering. Supervisor, Lance Manuel. Sian-Pin Jung, Electrical and Computer Engineering, Solid State Electronics. Supervisor, Anath Duabdul Lapur. My apologies. Donghui Ko, Electrical and Computer Engineering, Solid State Electronics. Supervisor, Sanjay K. Banerjee. Keyong Lee, Electrical and Computer Engineering, Solid State Electronics. Supervisor, Emmanuel Tutuk. Syriac Consimset, Chemical Engineering. Supervisor, Benny D. Freeman and Nikul M. Sharma. Alvin Ling Hee Lee, Electrical and Computer Engineering, Solid State Electronics. Deji Akinwande as Supervisor. Sung Ming Ok, Electrical and Computer Engineering, Integrated Circuits and Systems. Supervisor, Ranjit Gapuri. Aaron Thomas Hill, Jr., Civil Engineering. Supervisor, Eric B. Williamson. Amir Toliat, Electrical and Computer Engineering, Energy Systems. Supervisors, Ross Baldick and Alexis Kwasinski. Michael Drew Gamage, Materials Science Engineering, Supervisor, Desiderio Kovar. Robert Ryan Flanagan, Mechanical Engineering, Supervisor, Eric A. Schneider. We will now recognize the candidates in the McCombs School of Business. Professor Michael Clement will hood the candidates. Daehyun Kim, Accounting, Supervisor, Michael B. Clement. Kathleen Marie Powers, Accounting, Supervisor, Michael B. Clement, John R. Robinson. Nathan Francis Swim, Finance, Supervisor, Sheridan Titman. Mark Jansen, Finance, Supervisors, Robert Perino and Cesare Fracassi. Miao Zhang, Finance, Supervisor, Andres F. Donangelo and Sheridan Titman. Jun Hong, Marketing, Supervisor, Andrew Gershoff. Christina Cipriano, Management, Supervisor, Melissa A. Graeberner. Jacob Allen Schuer, Marketing, Supervisor, Wayne D. Hoyer. We will now recognize the candidates in the College of Pharmacy. Dean M. Lynn Crimson will hood the candidates. Matthew Joseph Herpin, Pharmaceutical Sciences, Supervisor, Hugh D. C. Smith. Ellen Ann Rockshaw, Pharmaceutical Sciences, Supervisor, James P. Wilson. Chung Yung Park, Pharmaceutical Sciences, Supervisor, Kenneth A. Lawson. Dawn Nicole Kim Romo, Pharmaceutical Sciences, Supervisor, Karen L. Rascati. Anthony James Romo, Pharmaceutical Sciences, Supervisor, Hong Win Liu. Kei Yi Lin, Pharmaceutical Sciences, Supervisor, Hong Win Liu. Joyce I.V. Eyre, Pharmaceutical Sciences, Supervisor, Walter Fast. Ji-Yong Chu, Pharmaceutical Sciences, Supervisor, John DiGiovanni. Komal Singh, Pharmaceutical Sciences, Supervisors, James Wilson and Jamie Barner. Rakesh Singh, Pharmaceutical Sciences, Supervisor, Kenneth A. Lawson. Grace Choi Lee, Translational Science, Supervisor, Christopher R. Green. Christine Keelan Dow, Pharmaceutical Sciences, Supervisor, Edward M. Mills. We will now recognize the candidates in the College of Natural Sciences. Associate Dean Daniel Knopf will hood the candidates. Karishma Surendra Kaushik, Microbiology, Supervisor, Vernita Gordon. Aaron Joshua Phineas, Mathematics, Supervisor, Andrew Nitsky. Yong Gao, Physics, Supervisor Chayan Nu. Martin Hirstov, Georgiev, Computer Science, Supervisors Vitaly Shimtsakov. Aaron Michael Royer, Mathematics, Supervisor Andrew J. Bloomberg. Jean Mu Lee, Computer Sciences, Supervisor Andrew B. Winston. Yu Jianong, Chemistry, Supervisor Andrew Ellington. Nicholas Burgos, Physics, Supervisor Richard Fitzpatrick. Tanya Sarberwal, Plant Biology, Supervisor Mona Medvi and Kay Sathasavan. Sarah Ann Abraham, Computer Sciences, Supervisor Donald S. Fussell. Shubhankar Nath, Microbiology, Supervisor Martin Pony and Haley O. Tucker. Michael Joseph Hammerling, Cell and Molecular Biology, Supervisor Jeffrey E. Barrick. Michelle Renee Robinson, Chemistry, Supervisor Jennifer S. Broadbelt. Shuting Liu, Marine Science, Supervisor Zhangfei Liu. Laura Joy Fredrickson, Mathematics, Supervisor Andrew M. Knightsky. Jennifer Sarah Bird, Mathematics, Supervisor Jose F. Volak. Pulak Goswami, Mathematics, Supervisor Gordon Zivkovich. David James Stark, Physics, Supervisors Richard D. Hazentine and Swadesh Mahajan. Chimoy Bhattacharjee, Physics, Supervisors Richard D. Hazentine and Swadesh Mahajan. Rodolfo Santana, Astronomy, Supervisor Pawan Kumar. Olivia Danica, Chemistry, Supervisor Gramay A. Hinkelman. Murat Kadir Della Amarilu, Chemistry, Supervisor Jonathan A. L. Sessler. Zach Wren, Chemistry, Supervisor Guambin Dong. Adam Miles Hughes, Mathematics, Supervisor Morelli Cipriani and Jeffrey D. Voller. An Lee, Biochemistry, Supervisor Kenneth Johnson. Aria Ansari, Human Development and Family Sciences, Supervisor Elizabeth T. Gershoff. Ishan Shun, Human Development and Family Sciences, Supervisor Soo Yong Kim. Jacqueline Lee Norrie, Cell and Molecular Biology, Supervisor Stephen A. Vokes. Xiaoxia Zhu, Plant Biology, Supervisor Inamur Hook. Dia Nicholson Bogchi, Cell and Molecular Biology, Supervisor Vishwanath R. Aya. Mayank Kerberwal, Computer Science, Supervisor Daniel P. Baranker. Edon Chen, Microbiology, Supervisor Alan Lambowitz. Maya Taskovic, Mathematics, Supervisor Irene M. Gamba and Natasha Pavlovic. Corey Michael Mueller, Chemistry, Supervisor Simon M. Humphrey. Kristen Jeanette Sir, Chemistry, Supervisor Jennifer S. Broadbelt. Colin O'Mara Hayes, Chemistry, Supervisor Carlton G. Wilson. Michael Joseph Maher, Chemistry, Supervisor Carlton G. Wilson. Kyung Mo On, Physics, Supervisor Xiao Quinn Lee and Maxim Soy. Yongbei Park, Astronomy, Supervisor Paul R. Shapiro. Myungwang Jiong, Astronomy, Supervisor Volker Brom. Mariana Mira Vasconcelos, Ecology, Evolution, and Behavior, Supervisor David Canatella and Klaus O. Wilk. Amanda Marie Lee, Ecology, Evolution, and Behavior, Supervisors Michael J. Ryan and Johan Hoffman. Brian Aki Ikanda, Chemistry, Supervisor Brent L. Iverson. Yongkyong Go, Cell and Molecular Biology, Supervisor Jacqueline P. Dudley. Ihab Hassan, Physics, Supervisor Philip J. Morrison, Claude W. Horton, Jr. Nimna Dabidian, Physics, Supervisor Gennady Chavets. Ji Chen Chen, Mathematics, Supervisor Yin C. Tsai. Jamie Michaela Poole, Mathematics, Supervisor Todd J. Abergast. Juliana Rebecca Duncan, Chemistry, Supervisor Grammy A. Hinkleman. Akshay K. Singh, Physics, Supervisor Xiao Chen Lin. Heidi Sinij, Physics, Supervisor Maxim Soy. Elizabeth Rose Konetsky, Human Development and Family Sciences, Supervisors Timothy J. Loving and Paul W. Eastwick. Patrick Solis Tennant, Human Development and Family Sciences, Supervisor Marcy E. Gleason. Rachel Elizabeth Whitaker, Chemistry, Supervisor Guanbin Dong. Saeed Asif Hassan, Physics, Supervisor Richard A. Matzner. Xiao Ye Chen, Computer Sciences, Supervisor Kristen L. Grauman. Ikewan Chiang, Astronomy, Supervisor Carl Gebhardt and Roderick A. Overzia. Chin Sui, Computer Sciences, Supervisor Kashev K. Pingali. We will now recognize the candidates in the School of Social Work. Dean Luis Zayas will hood the candidates. Eden Hernandez Robles, Social Work, Supervisor Diana M. Donito. Jennifer Lauren Scott, Social Work, Supervisor Yolanda C. Padilla. We will now recognize the candidates in the Moody College of Communication. Dean J. Bernhardt will hood the candidates. Rebecca Ann Scoggin McKinte, Journalism. Supervisor Renita B. Coleman. Chia-Yang Wang, Journalism. Supervisor Renita B. Coleman. Hina Kershi Bachwa, Journalism. Supervisor Renita B. Coleman and Maxwell E. McCombs. Hong Ting Vu, Journalism. Supervisor Renita B. Coleman and Maxwell E. McCombs. Eric D. Waters, Communication Studies. Supervisor Carrie K. Steffens. Yu-Fu Chun, Communication Sciences and Disorders. Supervisor Craig A. Champlin. Laura Ann Barberena, Communication Studies. Supervisor Roderick Hart. Youngwoo Song, Radio, Television, Film. Supervisor Sharon L. Strober. Laura Coco, Audiology. Supervisor Craig Champlin. Elissa Leigh Jordan, Audiology. Supervisor Craig Champlin, Angela Carey, and Joan Balash. Natalie Corinne Rooker, Audiology. Supervisor Dr. Angela Carey. Amber Dawn Stallworth, Audiology. Supervisor Joan Balash and Craig Champlin. Bethany Lee Ting Swee, Audiology. Supervisor Dr. Angela Carey. Christina Michelle Mendez Land, Audiology. Supervisors Dr. Amanda Zappler and Joan Balash. April Jane Musgrove, Audiology. Supervisor Amanda Zappler. Sarah Michelle Gansky, Audiology. Supervisor Angela Carey. Seth Andrew King, Audiology. Supervisor Amanda Zappler. Sabrina Cynthia Merciante, Audiology. Supervisor Craig Champlin. Ming Ching Leong, Advertising. Supervisor Lee Ann Kaler. Ji-Won Kim, Journalism. Supervisor Renita B. Coleman. Hyung Jong Choi, Journalism. Supervisor Renita B. Coleman. Catherine Henshin, Radio, Television, Film. Supervisors Natalie J. Stroud and Sharon L. Strover. Kate Blackburn, Communication Studies. Supervisors Matthew S. McGloney and James W. Pennenbaker. Brittany Lee Crook, Communication Studies. Supervisor Renee M. Daly. Jessica Amy Knapp, Communication Studies. Supervisor, Renee M. Daly. Laura Elizabeth Brown, Communication Studies. Supervisor, Aaron E. Donovan. Megan Ryan Steffens, Communication Studies. Supervisor, Sharon J. Hardesty. Cynthia Clemens Peacock, Communication Studies. Supervisor, Natalie J. Stroud. Kristen Svea Stimpson, Communication Studies. Supervisor, Barry Brummett. Michael Stephen Mood, Communication Studies. Supervisor, Donna Ballard. Robert Lauren Mack, Communication Studies. Supervisor, Joshua G. Gunn. Jacob Stewart Ford, Communication Studies. Supervisor, Jeffrey Treem. Jessica Lynn Ford, Communication Studies. Supervisor, Carrie K. Steffens. Erin Colette Nelson, Communication Studies. Supervisor, Aaron E. Donovan. Baha Gobriel Gamil, Radio, Television, Film. Supervisor, Karen G. Wilkins. Ikram Tomei, Radio, Television, Film. Supervisor, Joseph Staubauer. Unyoung Kang, Advertising. Supervisor, Lucinda J. Atkinson. Ji Yoon Han, Advertising. Supervisor, Minette Drumright. Young Ah Song, Advertising. Supervisor, Minette E. Drumright and Young Jong Soon. We will now recognize the candidates in the Jackson School of Geosciences. Dean Sharon Mosher will hood the candidates. Anastasia Mary Pilares, Geological Sciences. Supervisor, Won-Suk Kim. Gongliang Wu, Geological Sciences. Supervisor, Luke L. Levere. Maureen Ann Lavoie Walton, Geological Sciences. Supervisor, Sean S. Gulick. We will now recognize the candidates in the College of Education. Associate Dean Tasha Breakfast will hood the candidates. Jason Scott Oliver, Education Administration. Supervisor, Ruben D. Olivares. Ong Jun Choi, Foreign Language Education. Supervisor, Diane Shallert. David Anthony Jackson, Education Administration. Supervisor, Ruben D. Olivares. Yesenia Amarilis Mariquin, Educational Psychology, School Psychology. Supervisor, Deborah J. Terringer. Han Rin, Educational School Psychology. Supervisor, Stephanie W. Cawthorn. Alexandria Lamari Fisher, Educational Psychology. Supervisor, Timothy Z. Keith. Meredith Irene Brenster, Educational School Psychology. Supervisor, Douglas G. Allen and Rebecca Landa. Courtney Ann Valentine, Educational Psychology. Supervisor, Cindy I. Carson. Chelsea Lynn Brewer, Educational School Psychology. Supervisors, Deborah J. Theringer and Timothy Z. Keith. K. Tiffany Morrison, Educational School Psychology. Supervisors, Kevin D. Stark and Cindy I. Carson. Rachel Harper Tarantalo, Educational School Psychologist. Supervisor, Stephanie W. Cawthorn. Angelica Aguilar Rodriguez, Education Administration. Supervisor, Pedro Reyes. John Walter Carroll, Education Administration. Supervisors, Victor Sines and Edwin R. Sharp, Jr. Irene Trinette Jones, Special Education. Supervisors, Mark F. O'Reilly and Terry S. Falcamata. Devin Cyril Padable, Education Administration. Supervisor, Ruben D. Olivares and Edward R. Sharp, Jr. Huberto Lata, Curriculum and Instruction. Supervisors, Cynthia S. Salinas and Maria E. Franquise. Cesar Chavez Navarrete, Curriculum and Instruction. Supervisor, Min Liu. Julie Ann Martinez, Special Education. Supervisors, Audrey Soros and Sylvia Thompson. Robert Edward Sormani, Education Administration. Supervisor, Ruben D. Olivares. Natalie Shepard, Police, Health, Behavior, and Health Education. Supervisor, Karen E. Pash. Renate Van Zandwick, Kinesiology. Supervisor, Jody Jensen. Deanna Tamika Longino, Special Education. Supervisor, Mark F. O'Reilly. Anita Itzrani, Educational Psychology. Supervisor, Susan N. Barretas. Hector Martinez, Education Administration. Supervisor, Ruben D. Olivares. Nancy Kathleen Stano, Educational Psychology. Supervisors, Diane L. Shallard and Claire Ellen Weinstein. Garrett James Roberts, Special Education. Supervisor, Sharon Vaughn. Andrea McAdoo Schur, Education Administration. Supervisor, Ruben D. Olivares and Edward R. Sharp, Jr. Michelle Kristen Fowler Amato, Curriculum and Instruction. Supervisor, Randy Bomer. Catherine Lynette Chamberlain, Curriculum and Instruction. Supervisor, Mary Jo Worthy. Blanca Gabriela Caldas Chumbes, Curriculum and Instruction. Supervisor, Deborah Palmer. Jose Garcia, Curriculum and Instruction. Supervisor, Luis Ureta, Jr. Geneva Reyes, Curriculum and Instruction. Supervisor, Kefrelin D. Brown. Heather Koch Gonzalez, Special Education. Supervisor, Mark F. O'Reilly. Denise Michelle Carr, Education Administration. Supervisor, Marilyn C. Kameen. Ryan Kelly Carcom, Education Administration. Supervisor, Jennifer J. Home. Melissa Marie Mersham, Kinesiology. Supervisor, Roger P. Farrar. Gigi Dean Yuen Doe, Education Administration. Supervisor, Richard J. Reddick. Zacchaeus James Ahunley, Special Education. Supervisor, Audrey McCrae Soros and Marcia Barnes. Allison Camille Hartzell, Kinesiology. Supervisor, Marlene A. Dixon. Melinda Ann Lemke, Education Administration. Supervisor, Jennifer J. Holm. Ariana Christine Vasquez, Educational Psychology. Supervisor, Erica A. Patal. Dominique Gray Moraes, Kinesiology, Supervisor Janice S. Todd. Venkat Ramaprasad, Curriculum and Instruction, Supervisor Noah D. Lissavar. Shinfu Lin, Kinesiology, Supervisor Hirofumi Tanaka. Wanyi Wong, Kinesiology, Supervisor Roger P. Farrar and John L. Ivy. Audra Catherine Roach, Curriculum and Instruction, Supervisor Randy Bowman. Desiree Shanae Taylor, Educational Counseling Psychology, Supervisor Gigi H. Awad. Samuel Timothy Beasley, Educational Counseling Psychology, Supervisor Kevin O. Coakley. Sarah Ellen Gill, Educational Counseling Psychology, Supervisor Stephanie S. Rude. Annie Elizabeth Farmer, Educational Counseling Psychology, Supervisor Ricardo C. Ainsley. Claudia Lewis, Education Administration, Supervisor Victor Sines. Suzanne Garcia Mateos, Curriculum and Instruction, Supervisors Deborah K. Palmer and Claudia Cervantes. Melissa Ann Taylor, Education Administration, Supervisors Philip U. Treisman and Victor Sines. Dorothy Jean Wall, Curriculum and Instruction, Supervisor Deborah K. Palmer. We will now recognize the candidates in the intercollegial programs. Associate Vice President Tinsley Auden will hood the candidates. Jonathan Hubert Young, Computational Science, Engineering, and Mathematics, Supervisor Edwin M. Marcotte. Lindley C. Graham, Computational Science, Engineering, and Mathematics, Supervisor Clinton N. Dawson. Mateus Franz Toes, Computational Science, Engineering, and Mathematics, Supervisor Gregory J. Roden and Thomas J. Hughes. Truman Everett Ellis, Computational Science, Engineering, and Mathematics, Supervisors Leszek F. Dimkowitz and Robert D. Moser. We will now recognize the candidates in the Lyndon B. Johnson School of Public Affairs. Associate Dean Peter Ward will hood the candidates. Amelia Elizabeth Autz Stam, Public Policy, Supervisor David J. Eaton. This concludes the recognition of doctoral graduates for 2016.
Congratulations, graduates. As we bring this happy and hopefully joyful proceeding to a close, I hope you will attend the university commencement event this evening, where I will present you to President Finvez and the regents. You may now properly wear your hoods in this ceremony. It is most fitting that you be present to see the tower illuminated in your honor. There will be music, pageantry, and even a spectacular fireworks show, all just for you. And when you show up this evening, I encourage you to be loud, take advantage of your moment in the sun. As we conclude, I would like to take a moment to honor a very special part of this audience, namely those who have made it all possible and helped you along the way. The parents, the grandparents, spouses and partners, children, friends, perhaps a few priests or ministers. I know a lot of loan officers were involved, therapists, and I suspect even a bartender or two. I now ask all the graduates to stand and face the audience and give a warm thank you to your family and friends. Graduates, please remain standing. Members of the audience, will you allow the graduates to leave the auditorium before you? But before that, in closing, will everyone please rise and join in the singing of The Eyes of Texas? Thank you and congratulations. This concludes our ceremony.